Hey, everybody. I'm Ronald Long here with my buddy David Wood, and
Whoa.
we're going to talk youth ministry. Real quick, David, how long have you been doing youth ministry, right? How long have you been serving at some
Yeah.
point as a youth pastor?
Okay. As a youth pastor, it's been 8 years.
All right.
So I started working in youth ministry 20 years ago and volunteered for a long time when I was in the
Yeah.
Air Force and stuff, but then serving as a pastor for the last 8 years.
Ah, cool. Wow, that's good. Is there anything that, like, as you head towards decade of full-time student ministry, is there anything that you're like, oh man, this is coming up? Or
Wow. Anything coming up as far as like what are you
I don't know.
thinking?
Do you hope, like, oh man, in 2 years, I really hope I'm good at this, or in 2 years, or you're like, oh man, I think I actually do have a handle on this part of student ministry, right?
Yeah, no, man, everything has changed. It's all
Wrong.
it's all different, and I'm, even at a new church now and been here for the last year, and from the one church that I was at to this church, it's completely different, the way that things are run and the way that the church operates from the top down. So I'm just pretty consistently have felt like the rookie for the last
Mm.
8 years, and I don't know if I'll ever have it figured out. So, uh, I know a thing or two, and there are principles that have transcended the years, but when you put it together and the nuts and bolts of like actually what it looks like to do it, man, it's been a wild ride, especially over the past 4 years.
Uh, I, yeah, thinking about like 2023, backing up 4 years, there's a lot that's changed since then. I do kind of
Oh yeah.
okay. I want to hone in on something though. You've been
Okay.
volunteering for 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Around student ministry and stuff like that.
Uh huh.
How has your view towards parents in youth ministry shifted over that time?
Yeah, entirely. It's entirely different. So when I started 20 years ago, I was 17, and
Yep.
it tells you I'm 37. I was my youth pastor when I was a junior, gave me the keys to the middle school ministry, and I taught and did everything for them. And then, so as a 17-year-old kid, right, you don't think that this is a parent ministry, even when so my first I was a youth director for about 10 months
Yeah.
just out of college, my second year of college, not just out of college but my second year. And I remember I did announcements at church. It was a small
Nice.
church in Ontario, California. I did announcements. I went up and announced that we were going to do a winter camp, partnering with another church 1 month before the winter camp was about to happen.
Oh,
And I never talked to the senior pastor about it, never talked to the parents about it. And I gave them 1 month notice. And in my mind, as a 19-year-old kid, I was like, the kids just need to know it's only like $150.
oh my
Like,
gosh.
and I just said it. I just announced it in front of everybody. And then my senior pastor the next week, gracious, kind, good leader, just was like, hey, you did this, and there are some things to consider when you make these announcements. And talking about parents, like how much time parents have to hear the information of a winter camp and then pay, and then, all of that. So, if that
Yeah.
gives you any indication of where I
Yeah.
was in parent ministry to 20 years later now, how I communicate with them has changed. What I communicate with them has changed. And I'm a parent myself of an eighth grader and a sixth grader.
Yeah. So
So,
you know a month out notification that you need to pay $300 for your kids to go spend a weekend somewhere is kind of a big deal.
yeah, that was, it's funny because I don't know if I have told that story ever or if I like have even remembered that story until like this moment. So like, yeah,
Mm,
that's wild.
yeah. No, but you're right. When you're 18, 19, and you've got a whole month to prepare, you're like, I've got all the time in the world. This is
I can
great.
plan anything in a month. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, it wouldn't be good, but I could do it. Uh,
You could do it. Yeah, there that is definitely a big shift in, like you said, being a parent yourself.
yeah,
You can now make some adjustments. I know for me, like whenever I was planning things, it would be the shift happened between like, hey, this is for other parents. And as soon as I became a parent of a student in the ministry, I was like, oh no, wait a second. Hold, I
yep,
need to consider that, right? Can think about how often I wanted to hear about what was going on in youth ministry, like how
yeah.
much time, lead time I would need as a parent. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It changes dramatically.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
Okay, so then
definitely.
question, David. Was there ever
Yeah.
a time when you were either volunteering or, lead guy, you were the person. Was there ever a time where you were like, I don't want parents to be involved. Like I would prefer there to be fewer parents hanging out in the student ministry.
Oh, man. I'm sure that there was a time, when I was older, when I would have preferred, or when I was younger, sorry, when I would have preferred younger leaders,
Mhm.
the more energy. Uh, I would say for sure. Now I can see value in having parents serve with an asterisk, right? So we have, Wednesday night is our small group time
Yep.
when parents come in to serve, because we have parents, of students, serving as our small group leaders. And when they serve, like, my rule is they don't serve with their student.
Yep.
They, like, if they have a sixth grade boy, they are not the sixth grade boys small group leader. They're
Hmm.
going to lead the eighth grade boys or some group entirely different. I heard, at the first few years conference at DYM just last month, somebody said, to possibly have them, serving, if they have middle school students, have them serving in high school, so they
Wow.
can be close by, adjacent, but not, actively super involved in the ministry. And I thought that that was pretty good advice. Um, you can also get a sense of, like, if the parent is going to try to be that helicopter parent where they
Right.
want to be like, there to control, to manage the narrative that their kids are hearing, to keep an eye on all the other kids and make sure they're not bad influences. um,
Hmm.
yeah, I would say, those are things to consider as you have those initial conversations with parents. Like, why do you want to serve? What is your
Yep.
heart behind this? And then setting clear expectations and boundaries with them ahead of time to be like, okay, this is great. I think you're going to excel in this spot here. Um, but just want to make sure that you're giving your kids some space so they feel that they can still be themselves and be free to be who they want to be.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
so I think that that's valuable, having that. And this is after the 20 years of learning, when before it would have been like, I probably would have not wanted parents to be involved, uh, just because, the parents are lame, uh, to a 16-year-old and to a 19-year-old.
Yeah,
um,
no, I I was definitely there. I remember, like you saying, bringing up a time. There was just one moment where we were doing like our summer Bible study series, and it was supposed to be a week long Bible study. So basically, go hang out at somebody's house, do Bible study, then the next night, the next night, the next night, right? And that was kind of the
yeah.
thing. And I remember we were at one of a student's house, like their parent was hosting us and graciously allowing a couple kids to swim in their pool and stuff. I was leading the
Nice.
Bible study and remembering like, okay, I'm gonna I'm going to end this Bible study on a cliffhanger, right? We're getting together tomorrow, right? So I just wanted to
Mm,
have 24 hours to think about it. And
yeah.
it was this whole idea. I just said, like, without Jesus, we are sinners and we have no hope. And I kind of remember wanting to leave it there and was just about to pray. And the dad comes in, stands beside me, and says, I just want to say, and went on this whole spiel about the gospel, which was beautiful and good.
Yep.
But it was like, I remember thinking, my young 22-year-old self, like, bro, you just ruined the whole thing, man. Like, what are you doing?
Yep.
And at that point, definitely thinking like some parents don't need to be involved in youth ministry.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Using finding out who is the ones to involve and who to not involve, it takes a lot of discernment and wisdom,
Mhm.
um, that I, as a 19-year-old, didn't have.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think even too, like, looking back on it, the thing I would have changed is I would have done a better job communicating with, volunteers and dad and stuff like that, and like, "Hey, tonight's gonna end on a cliffhanger, be cool." Right?
Yep.
We're gonna get there,
Yes.
right? So, like,
Yep.
communication would have fixed it, which is what you were talking about as well. Setting those
Yeah.
expectations with parents is
Yeah.
huge. So, like you were saying in your ministry, you don't let a parent serve as a small group leader for their kid.
Yeah.
No, I think that's really wise because then you get if they want to be involved and around, that's great, but they're not like it gives a kid a chance to be just a youth in the group and not
Yeah.
necessarily think, I don't want to share this with dad or mom right
Totally.
here in front of my friends.
Yes, exactly. And when you get into the conversations on sex and sexuality and uh, all of these different things, there's dynamics in there at play when you talk to parents and how awkward that can be for students talking to their kids. So, um, yeah, it really muddies things up when parents are leaders to their own students. So,
Yeah.
pretty hard rule that I don't think I've ever crossed is letting the parents uh, want parents to be involved, but don't want parents to be involved in their kids' groups.
So then here's a question that can be like a follow up to that. Have you ever had a student tell you, I do not want my parent to be a a volunteer for any reason? Have you ever had a student say, please don't have my parent as a volunteer?
Great question. No, I haven't, but I always ask.
There you go.
Um, I always ask the kid before bringing the parent on, and I say, "Hey, what do you think about that? Would you be comfortable with having your dad there or your mom there?" And the answer has, with the people that I've asked and with the people that have come to me and say, "I want to help," I go to the kid. What do you think? The kid has always been like, "That'd be great."
Okay. Yeah. Have you because you can ask the parent that, what's your kid think about you serving in student ministry?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
But then to ask the student and to say, no, this is your chance, man. Like
Yeah.
if you don't want your mom around, now's your opportunity to say. And
Yep.
most of the time you said those students have been cool. Like when they find out mom and dad are going to serve, they're like, no, that's fine.
Yeah. There actually has been a kid who, and I don't remember who or the situation, but now that I'm thinking about it, there has been a kid where I thought this parent would be really great. And I said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And they were like, "No." I'm like,
Wow.
"Okay." And I respected that. And that it actually, it kind of told me a lot about their dynamic
Mm,
and what their family life was like. So it gave me a little bit more insight on how I could pastor the kid as well.
yeah. I've had, to my knowledge, one,
Yeah.
and what was a little different for me is I didn't even have a chance to ask student reached out to me, quickly and said, "Hey, I heard you were asking my parent about being involved in youth ministry. Please know here are three reasons why." I was like, "Oh,
Mm,
dang!"
wow.
And so that's
How
probably
responsible.
that was very responsible of the kid just to say like, "Hey,
Yeah.
no, no, you don't trust me. This is not a
Yeah.
good time, and I don't either. Please."
Yeah. Wow.
I think I definitely think for me, I've come to see how valuable having parents in the youth ministry is.
Mhm.
Right, because if you are 17-year-old, 18-year-old making plans, talking to other 18, 19, 20-year-olds about plans for the youth ministry, y'all will probably come up with some ideas that may or may not be great.
Yeah, yeah.
But to immediately bounce some ideas off parent, I had one volunteer who was very good at saying, "Hey, I have my parent hat on right now." So, okay, great, talk to me,
Mm,
right? And we'd be able to have a discourse, and they'd say, "I get youth ministry, I understand. I understand what's going on, but I want you to know I have my parent on hat for this conversation, and
Mm,
I maybe forgot about this or need to think about that.
mm. Yeah, that's great.
There's a lot of value in being able to just get that immediate feedback from a parent rather than having to schedule. They're involved in the ministry. They're around, right? So you can just say, "Hey, real
Exactly.
quick, mom and dad, have was that too much? Did I do the right way?"
Yeah. Yeah. I have a leader who, is a dad of, 2 kids, a girl 8th grade girl, 6th grade boy, and
Cool.
this leader he's a rock star, like, just, he's an older not older guy, but maybe early 40s,
Mhm.
so, not the young energy, but he brings excitement. He's just got great youth ministry energy,
Ah, cool.
and, um, and he is very well connected in the community that we're in,
Mhm.
um, and he's also very successful. He's been successful earlier in his life in sports, and now in business, he's doing really well. And for a minute, when I brought him on, my first response to that was, "Oh man," I kind of was like nervous about
Mhm.
him being such a strong leader
Yeah.
and so great. And um, my nose itches. So we're fine. It's okay. I had to do that, and then it was gonna just get it over with.
There you go.
Nope, it's not done yet. Okay. Um, so yeah, I was nervous about this strong leader. uh, you can either cut that or keep it in. It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
we're keeping it. Please say it.
Yes. All right. Um, so he's a strong leader. I was a little uncomfortable. I was a little bit like, man, like they're gonna start looking to him, and then like I realized so quickly, I was like, oh man, this guy, like, why am I afraid? Like, this is such he is such a great person to
Mm.
have on my team. So I went to him and I said, hey, could you coach me um
Oh,
in energy from the stage, and how I communicate things from the stage, but then also, can you help me with parents? Can you help me learn the language of the parents that are in the community, so that so that I can talk with them, and in a language that they'll understand, because I'm still pretty new to the area that I'm living in, and it's kind of, it can be difficult to learn how to communicate to new groups of adults in the way that they live. So, and he has been the greatest asset for me in helping me, telling me areas that I can improve, and encouraging me in the areas that I'm strong, but then also having my back when I've created group text with parents to be like, hey, I want to
mm.
get together with your kids, and uh, I want to get together and talk about what we can do to make our group a place where your students want to continue to be a part of. And then he chimes in and supports me in that group chat with all the other parents, and it's like, ah, Ben, you're the man, thank you.
Uh,
like that, the way that he elevated me in that situation, um it it allowed the parents to be able to see me through Ben's eyes,
mm.
through my leader's eyes, and it gave me credibility with them just because of that parent. So, um, yeah, uh, I can't remember why I jumped into that story, but I felt like it just might be worth adding, like the idea of sometimes when you include parents in, it will help relationships with other parents and visibility for the ministry, who may not be involved, but the parents who are volunteering are involved in the lives of those other parents, and it just helps increase positive vibes for the
No,
ministry.
absolutely it does. I was gonna say, like, when you have an advocate for the youth ministry who's not
Mhm.
just, air quotes, just a youth leader, but a
Yeah.
parent, they can then
Yes.
speak to other parents. Because, like, you're as the youth pastor, you're supposed to be like
Yeah.
sold on the youth ministry, right? That's your job.
Yes.
But if
Yes.
you've got a volunteer who is a parent in youth ministry also saying, no, what we're doing is good. Here's the reason why I bought
Yep.
in. I believe in not only what we're doing, but I believe in the youth pastor and why they're doing it. That's
Yes.
this invaluable. That's wild
Yeah.
and good,
Yeah.
good stuff. No, great, great story to
Yeah.
talk about because everybody needs that parent. Every youth pastor needs that parent who's got their back,
Yep.
supporting them. And honestly, when it comes from a parent, it means more.
Yeah.
'Cause again, if it's coming from the youth pastor, you're like, okay, fine, that's your job. But if it comes
Yeah.
from other people,
Yep.
uh, that resonates with other parents. Oh no, good stuff,
Absolutely.
David. Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
David, thank you so much for hanging, for chatting out. You,
Yeah.
I would love for you to just like plug yourself a little bit. Where you serving? How can people find you on the internet? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I'm serving currently in Southern California, church in Laguna Hills, and been here for the last year. Yeah, I hate this. I'm not I'm not a salesman. I don't plug myself often, but yeah, I do a few things outside of my own local church. I'm a magician,
Mm,
so I travel, do magic shows at church camps, or just special events, evangelism events. I kind of weave in the magic show. I weave my testimony throughout it, and talk about the goodness of God in the middle of really difficult times. And yeah, I'd love to come and partner with you guys. If you're watching, you're looking for a magician, I'd love to come and hang out with you. I also speak occasionally at camps and various events as well. So I'd love to, and when I can partner, speaking at a camp and performing magic at that same camp, it's always a special time. Like it is really super, super special. So, that's me. If you want to get a hold of me, you can. My all my social media tags are, say all of them. It's just Instagram. So yeah, just Instagram, at David Wood Magic, and you can find me, follow me. I'll follow you back, and we can connect. I just recently deleted the apps off of my phone because
oh,
I've been intentional about focusing on silence and solitude with Jesus,
good to
and it
do.
was distracting me. So it may take me a little while to get back to you on social media, but I promise I will. If you connect, I'll look on my desktop, and we can connect in that way. So um, that's me.
All right, awesome. Hey, and let me give a plug back. We've had you out to San Antonio to talk to our kids out here.
Yeah.
Did a great job, man. Our kids loved you. They thought you were great. I thought you were great, and so
Thank
I
you.
give my endorsement to David, to you as well.
Yeah,
Very
thanks, man.
cool.
It's very kind.
Hey, well, thanks for listening, everybody, and do all the internet things, share things, subscribe to things. Yeah, do all that. Appreciate y'all so much, and
Smash that subscribe button.
smash that
Sorry.
subscribe button. That's what you do. That's the way to say it. Have a good week, everybody.
Bye.